Hello, hello, Aldwyn Altuney here. Welcome to Media Queen TV. We have the beautiful Neera Gupta in the studio today. Hello, Neera.
Hello. How are you, my dear?
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Now, we have a hot topic for you today here on Media Queen TV. It is raising our voices to inspire, motivate, and empower. I love this topic today. Now, before we get into the topic, we are going to introduce now, in fact, I will introduce the beautiful Neera. She is the Chief Visionary Officer at Global Influencers Publishing House, the founder and director of Kit Kat Events and Marketing. She's been in the forefront of empowering women through a series of events, forums, panels designed to empower and uplift women from across the world. The latest initiative that she has just put together is an international book called My Voice, a collective memoir by women of substance, and it features empowering and inspirational stories of 23 amazing and courageous women journeying from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Sounds amazing, Neera. Wow, you are one accomplished lady. And thank you to Asutosh before we go on, because Asutosh introduced me to you, and you are cousins and you're both extraordinary. So I can't wait to hear a little bit of your family background, because you must come from exceptional stock, I would say, to be such extraordinary people. So welcome, Neera.
Thank you very much. Yes, he is the power connector, true to his name.
He absolutely is, Asutosh, and I'm sure you'll be watching this, Asutosh. If you're not watching it live, you'll be watching a replay, no doubt. So sending you love, my friend. You are one hell of a man. And so is your cousin here, Neera. You know, Asutosh said, "Oh, you'll love my cousin Neera. Talk to Neera." And sure enough, you know, he knew. And our first conversation went for ages as well. So you know, that's just how it rolls. So, Neera, tell us a bit about yourself. You've done a lot of traveling. So where did you start out, and how did you come to travel so much?
So I was raised in Abu Dhabi, UAE, long way ago, and I lived there for about 17 years, and then moved to India to do my dentistry, which is again something most people don't know about me, that I'm actually a qualified dentist.
Wow.
From India, I lived there for about 5 years, and then I married my husband, who I'd known for 4 years before that, and for his work, we traveled around the world. So I've lived in Beijing, I've lived in Tokyo, I've lived in Taipei, I've lived in Bangalore, I have. And then again, of course, we moved to Australia, but we were going in and out of Australia as well. So I'm Australian citizen, by immigration. So I've lived in Australia for about 10 years. Then we moved to Hong Kong. And from Hong Kong, we moved to Singapore, then moved back to Hong Kong. Now I'm back in Singapore. So yes, lived all over the place. And I have to say that it's been really, really enriching. Again, it is hard at times, because you have to, keep packing your bags and moving. But I've made so many friends from different parts of the world. I have learned so much about different cultures. I've learned to appreciate, and I can tell you one thing about myself, that when I first went to Taiwan, I was upset in a way that people didn't speak English, until I actually realized that firstly, I've gone into their country. I don't know the language. So I have to be the one who has to be humble about the fact that I don't understand their language. And secondly, I saw how much they tried. There were times where I would ask for directions and they couldn't explain it to me. So they would actually walk with me to where I wanted to go, show me the place, turn around and go back. And this is not just one incident that happened. This is something that happened over and over again. So you can see that people are very nice and people are very genuine and they want to help. And, if the language is a barrier, then it is for us to then, compensate in different ways. So yeah, definitely it's been really enriching. Different countries, different experiences. I've loved it. Of course, now moving with kids and dogs is harder. But, until a few years ago, it was much easier and I really enjoyed it.
Got it. And was it mainly for your husband's work that you moved, or were there other reasons?
It was, yeah. You could say that I was a trailing spouse. But again, with that too, the beauty was that in every country that I went, now again, I mean, you can sit there and say, "Oh, I have nothing to do," and be upset about it. But on the other hand, what I did was I found things to do there. Of course, when I was there for a shorter period, the idea was to explore and understand and learn and grow. But of course, when we were there for longer periods, like in Australia, of course, I was working. I did my MBA over there, and I probably had one of the best corporate careers while I was there. Then when I moved to Hong Kong, that was when GFC had just struck, and there were no jobs. So my husband still had a job. I couldn't get one. I said, you know what? This is the time for me to write a book. So that's when I actually wrote my first book
Ah,
on my own without any support or anything. And I realized that it was much harder to get published than actually write a book. It was really, really hard as a first time author, not having an agent to represent you, not being from a writing background. So my language was very colloquial in that sense. So, even to find the right person to edit and all of that was quite a struggle. But I did manage to publish. The book went on to become a bestseller. It was called Careful What You Wish For. It was fiction. And it was also voted as one of the top 5 books to read when you're traveling. This was like 10 years ago. So it's been, or 11
wow.
actually. It's been a long time. Then, moved to Singapore. And again, I was working in corporate. So I have been able to do lots of different things. And then when I moved again to Hong Kong, I found this whole new thing with TV, and it was always my dream to do something on TV, and I'd never been able to. But when I moved to Hong Kong, I got an opportunity to do TV shows for a very popular Indian TV channel called ZTV. So I produced and hosted 2 TV shows over there with the local, Indian population over there, which is called Saregama and Antakshri. So that again was a dream come true for me. And then
Wow.
again, of course, being in Singapore now, I've been running my company now for 6 years, KitKat Events and Marketing, and the publishing house. It's about 7 months now, 7 or 8 months now since we set that up.
Fantastic. And now you've got a book about to come out. So
Yeah.
exciting. Can you let us know about this book you've put together?
Yes. So I want to talk to you also about how the whole idea of the book came along, because that's very important for the whole
Mm,
entire book.
sure.
Now, so we run a lot of events, right, as KitKat Events and Marketing. And then when COVID happened, there were no events. And so, we were okay. We're like, okay, let's just take it all light. But then we realized a lot of our friends, they were suffering from just no one to talk to. There was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot happening. And so we said, you know what,
Mm,
just because we can't meet doesn't mean that, we can't just have a chat. So we started organizing events, and we called it My Voice, as a means for letting our girlfriends know that there's somebody there. You can talk to somebody, you can share your issues, your challenges. There's no judgment. We'll lend you a listening ear, or we'll lend you a helping hand, whatever we can. And from that, then it snowballed in a very good way, where then we started getting speakers on board, because then we needed to have an action plan, because you could talk about your problems and so what? Then what? Then we got the right speakers who then had an action plan. And from that, and also we had been running events like the Women Empowerment Forum, where we got speakers, where people spoke about their journeys, and we did Women of Inspiration Awards. So we had a lot of amazing women within our networks. And we said, you know what, their stories are amazing. Now they need to be heard by other people. I personally, every time I spoke to somebody, I was so inspired. And I said, my goodness, what? I mean, all of the women that I know, they're doing such amazing jobs in anything that they're doing. And a lot of them, had different challenges that they went through. And how did they overcome those challenges, and to say, you know what? Enough is enough. I am going to stand up. I am going to speak up, and I am going to get heard. I said, these stories need to be heard by a larger population, because a lot of women, we're, we may not feel, I mean, we may not be going through everything that all of the other authors are, but you know what? There are things that we're going, that are happening in our life, and we need to know from real life people that I have been through this. This is what I did. And even if somebody is not ready for that change, at least they can say, you know what, I'm not alone. And I thought about myself in that. And I said, had I known that, there is a solution, there are other ways to find happiness, or, the fact that I'm not alone, I would have been much happier as well at the time when I was at the lowest of my lows. And so I said, you know what, we're going to do this. So we're going to we're going to publish a book. We're going to get all the people that we know, or, and find new people as well, where their stories are going to be inspirational, are going to be empowering. And we put the whole project together. And the same thing happened. We were looking for publishing companies. And again, I was like, oh my God, this is deja vu. Because again, it was like, do you have an agent? No, we don't. Have these authors written before? I think most of them haven't written before. We have this project and we want to get this published. This is really good stuff. And then trying to find the right editors and all, it was a challenge with publishing houses. And then we wanted to market it. I mean, again, like I always said, that if you don't market these days, your 10 friends and family are going to buy the book, probably not even read it, but they will buy it so they can prove to you that we're supporting you.
Yes. So you'll sell at least 10 anyway. You'll sell at least 10, which is the good news. So it's still worth putting out for the 10 people, right?
You bet. Oh gosh, that was a good one. Yes, I should make a list of that. Who is going to buy my book? Yeah. Make new friends.
Yeah. Pay the family.
Dinner party at my house.
Yes.
Well, these days because of COVID, we can't even do that. But
no,
in good old days. So,
yes.
So then what we actually went ahead and we said, you know what? We're going to start our own publishing house. We're going to get the right team together. So we set up our publishing house in Singapore. We got a team of professional editors, proofwriters, proofreaders, editors, copywriters. We got all of that team together, based in Australia and UK. So we have like multi-layered editing that happens, which is great because then we can cater to a larger group of people when they read. Then we've got a marketing team that's based out of Israel. We've got our designing team based out of Hong Kong. And you won't believe it, but everybody in our team is women. They're all women, including our legal, including our finance team. Everybody is a woman. And of course, my partner for KitKat Events and Marketing and Global Influencers Publishing House, Shikha. So we've been best friends for many, many years. So we're a core team of women.
Wow. And global women. That is extraordinary. Yep. Fantastic. And thanks to COVID, I guess you've been able to connect with people from all over the world like this.
Yes, so true. I mean, again, of course, I would never wish for COVID to ever happen again or ever have happened. But, we've been able to see the positive in that as well. And the world's become one, really, in terms of the virtual events and, things happening on the internet these days.
Yes, absolutely extraordinary. And, 23 amazing and courageous women. So where have these women come from who are actually in the book?
They're actually from all over the world. We've got people from UK, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong. And again, for Singapore and Hong Kong, because these are very multinational countries, multicultural, multinational. So they're actually expats. So they actually come from other countries, but living in Singapore and Hong Kong. We've got people from Korea, Nigeria, Kenya, US, so India. So we've got women from a lot of different countries.
Wow, fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to being in the next one because you've got another one coming up after this, which will be amazing. Yes. And, I'm a huge advocate for compilation books and co-authored books because a lot of people do procrastinate and deliberate around, getting a whole book done. But when you're just doing a chapter, and these are just some of the chapter books that I have been in, this one here, Forever Changed by Suicide. I've got a chapter in that one about my 4 friends that took their own lives. This one, Elevate Your Mindset. I've got one in there. This one, Undefeated, which Asatosh was involved in. Undefeated is another awesome one. And Visions of Success. These are just some of the compilation books that I have out. Do you have a copy of my voice there yet that we can see the cover or not yet, Neera?
So I I do. I mean, the book's not out yet, but we do
Yep.
have. I do have a book with the cover. Can I just like?
Yeah, a book with the
Yeah.
mock cover.
Okay.
Yeah, you go do
Yeah.
that, and I'll
Okay.
come full screen for a minute. Okay, there we go. Oh, better turn that around. Okay, my green screen background's gone a bit out. So how are you finding it so far?
Okay. There we go.
Watching this. How are you finding it, guys? We've got comments
I got
here.
it.
Go Neera. We've got Go Neera, Go Girl by Namrata Pande Srivastava. I hope I got that right. Namrata. Is that right? Namrata?
Yes, Namrata. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. All right, here we
So
go.
is the lighting okay? Yeah. Now. There we go.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? I love it. I love the cover.
Thank you.
Very nice. Beautiful. Fantastic. How exciting. Wow,
It
congratulations
is.
on that. That is just brilliant. So
Thank you.
exciting. Collaborating with 23 women from all over the world. Extraordinary. And, the topic today, the book is about featuring empowering and inspirational stories. And our topic is raising our voices to inspire, motivate, and empower. And of course, putting a chapter in a book is a great way to do that. Getting in the media in some ways is a great way to do it. Collaborating with other people is a great way to do it too. And so this is a beautiful women's collaborative, and I'm sure we all love the men in our lives as well. This isn't about excluding men, right? We do love the men in our lives. Some we love more than others, right? But generally speaking, they all have something lovable about them, right? So yes, it's not about that. Here we go. Namrata says yes, absolutely right. Deepika, hello. Deepika Sharma sending lots of love, sending you love too, Deepika. Here we go, the love for you and Namrata and everyone watching this right now. So back to our topic here. Back to our topic, raising our voices to inspire, motivate, and empower. How important is this, Neera?
What happens, Aldwyn, is that we all have an opinion, or we have a view, or we have a thought about something, right? About things that happen to us or things that happen around us. Sometimes we only think about it, sometimes we speak about it or take action, but you know what? Most times we do nothing about it. And this is where we say that, it's okay until a certain point, but there has to be a point where you need to stand up, you need to speak up, you need to get heard. And this is the whole thing about our voice. Our voice is the most valuable possession that we have. And again, it could be a silent voice, it could be a loud roar, it could be anything. But as long as you get it heard, that's where it is very, very important, because it is the only way that we can empower ourselves and empower others around us.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. And, voices are different for different people. It's like horses for courses or courses for horses, or, everyone's different. And, raising your voice may look different to one person than another. Inspiring, motivating and empowering. To inspire, motivate and empower. Now, what are some ways, Neera, that people can do that, to inspire, to motivate and empower? What are some of the key ingredients people need to be able to do that?
I think the number one thing is to have courage. Unless you've had courage for yourself to, turn your challenges into inspiration, or, turn your entire life from where you are, unloved, if that's what you feel, to self-love, to compassion. I think that's very important, to have that courage to, say stop, or to say move on. That's very important. Once you have courage, then you can empower or inspire somebody.
Yes.
The other thing that I would say is the willingness to change. Now, we all go through this. We all go through times where it's just as we're in the spiral, and we're just going round and round, and just life just is not going anywhere. But that's also because we're not willing for that change in life. So I think that willingness is very important. So once you say, what, I'm ready, I want to do this, that inner willingness, then again, once you're able to do that, once you're able to move past that, and you are determined to do it, that's when then again you are able to change, and then, empower other people to be able to do that. And the third thing I would say in terms of empowering or inspiring other people is network. It's so important to have that support and that network of people around you that do not judge you, that are there to support. You may be wrong. I'm not saying that we're always right. You may be wrong, but then they're like they at least they give you that time and they give you that support to say, what, that's okay. You're feeling like that. That's fine. But you know what? You are not right. Oh, yes, you're right. Oh, yes, you need to do this. To have that support. And I think for women, it's very, very important. Again, for men as well. But I think for men, I feel that it's almost, they're not there yet in terms of seeking or asking for help. But I think for women, we generally are more emotionally in tune, so we're able to take support and give support at the same time. So I think having the right people, the right community around us is important.
Yes, absolutely. There's some fantastic points you just mentioned there. Your environment is so powerful. As the amazing Sam Cawthorn says from Speakers Institute, proximity is power. So getting really conscious of who you hang out with. Does the energy bring you up or does it bring you down?
True.
Are you lifting the energy with the room or are you bringing it down? Are people happy when you're coming in or are they happier when you're going out? And, this is really important. How do you want to live your life? It's a choice in every single moment, how you want to do life. Are you going to live it above the line or below the line?
So true. And it's interesting you say that, because I had a recent experience. A friend of mine who I'd known since I was 5, she recently passed away with cancer. And again, it was, of course, it was a very emotional experience. And one of the things I wanted, and she was away, like, she's overseas. We couldn't go. None of us could be there with her. Even people who lived in the same city couldn't because of COVID. And so I had organized a memorial for her, which was online. And I, just send the word out to everybody, whoever could join, to be there. And, we all wanted to say things to her, and everybody had beautiful things to say about her. And in a way, it made me think, and exactly to what you were saying, how do you want to live your life? And I said to myself, if I was to go today, what is it that people are going to say about me? And again, of course, I understand that, in a public forum, people usually say nice things, but truly, what is it that people would talk about me? And it's good to say good things. And I thought about all of the things that I thought people would say about me. And I've not done this exercise with other people because my friends will kill me if I tell them to do something like that. But I thought of it, and I have to be honest, I felt very good about what people would say about me. And I thought it couldn't have been that I was like that all my life. I mean, I've done lots of different things and been a lot of different things, but I said, this is exactly how I want to lead my life. I said it is important. And again, people would say that it's not important what others say, but the thing is, it is important, because that's a mirror of you yourself. What others think of you is a mirror. Because I personally, I'm not a very self-aware person, but the fact that what people are thinking about me is how I'm behaving, or what I'm, what kind of a person I am. And I also thought to myself, let me also think about some of the not so good things that people might say about me, maybe, when they're in smaller groups. And I said, what, I did find a couple of things. I said, what, I'm going to work on these things. I want to work on these things that, in future, these things don't even come up in their mind, or even if they do, she was like that, but she doesn't do that anymore. So I thought that it was a good opportunity for me to improve myself. Be happy and be grateful for everything, but at the same time, there's always room for improvement.
Yes, absolutely. 100%, Neera. That is absolutely poignant what you were saying. And in this journey of life, there'll always be times when people are going to speak highly of you, and you're going to get others that are going to speak not highly of you, depending on where they're at in their lives as well.
True,
and,
true.
hurt people. right? Hurt people. So people are jealous of your success, etc. They'll put you down. And that's the thing. The more you step up in life too, the more you're going to have people that love you and people that hate you. Look at Donald Trump as a fantastic example of this, right? I mean, there's people that love him and people that hate him, right? I mean, it's phenomenal what that man has been through, no matter what you think of him, what he's been through to actually keep going despite all the put down that he has had from the media and from others. And, no matter what your opinions are of him, he's just one example, right? The more you step up, the more you're going to have people that are going to love you and hate you. And when it comes to how do you want to be remembered when you are in your grave, whether you're cremated or you're buried, at the end of your life, there's a great poem called The Dash, about the dash that's between the start year of your life and the end time of your life, right? From the start to the end, there's a dash in there. And what you do with your dash is how you live your life, right? This little dash in life, if you think of all of eternity is massive, and we're just this little dash right here, a third of people die by the age of 65. So how do you want to be remembered? And, Neera, I like what you said too, is that you can always improve yourself. Always. Like I know I've had a thing over the years where I have sometimes been running late for things, right? And I've had this bit of a reputation that sometimes I've been running late. And what can happen with me, or has happened many times, is I just tend to lose track of time, that sometimes I'm just chatting with someone, next thing I know, oh my goodness, it's an hour's gone just like that, And so I've become more conscious now of making sure I allow enough time, to actually get to places on time. And, and I've been working on that area of my life. There's many other areas where things are flowing, amazingly. And there's some areas we tend to get stuck in life, don't we? And those areas where we get stuck, and, I know being late, sometimes people make it mean that you don't care about them or that you're not considering their needs, right? Whereas, if someone comes to me early, I kind of get upset with that, because I've been allocating every single second, in my up until the time they're there. If they get 10 minutes early, I'm like, I'll see you in 10 minutes. I've still got stuff I'm doing, right? So, so it's interesting how we all are. And the number one regret of the dying is living a life not true to yourself.
The authentic life.
Yes. And so this is a really big point to consider. What is it that you love to do with your life? And if money wasn't an issue, would you be doing that thing? Right. And I can say, Neera, with the way you are and how passionate you are about your life, I would say that you're right on purpose. It sounds like you are loving your life, and you're traveling the world, having a great time, connecting with people all over the world. And I'm the same. I love my life. I would say 99% of the time I love my life. There's some parts of my life that I'm not so much in love with, like my accounts. Accounts is another area I don't like doing, like the paperwork and the tax. And that's another area that's not a strong point for me, right? And that's the thing. We can't be strong at every single little thing in life. That's where it's important to outsource and build a team. Now, this brings me back to your book, Neera. So back to My Voice. Now, you put this book together in record time. Actually, how long did it take to put the book together, and how have you gone about getting it published? Are you self-publishing? Are you going through a publishing company? How are you doing that?
So this is what I mentioned earlier, that we set up our own publishing house, which is Global Influencers Publishing House. So we actually set up our own company for publishing, and we got an entire team together. So we're not just going to do one book, right? We're now at volume 2. We're also right now in the process of publishing some solo books as well for some of the authors. In fact, some of those authors are part of the My Voice book, the co-authored book. And we also have some authors from from other sort of places who have not who didn't want to co-author, they wanted a solo book. But so we set up our own company. We've got our legal team together, we've got our editing, marketing, all of that. So this is now a company that will help other women also publish. So I remember struggling when I wanted to publish my first book. Well, now we have a solution for, and again, especially for women. So we've got this solution where we will be able to give all of that support. So you don't have to go out looking for, because a lot of the publishing houses might just publish your book, but that's it. But we want to say that we want to market it. We want to promote people as authors and make it into a bestseller. That's very important as well, because you want to be a best-selling author. So we want to provide all of that marketing support, all of the editing, even the writing support, because not everybody is a good writer, but they have a good story. and they might be good speakers as well, but writing
Yes.
down something, it's very different when you're speaking, when you're writing, and that's hard for people. So we
Yes.
have that support where, we have somebody who can help write the content, help you write or write for you. So we had this entire team together for publishing a book.
Fantastic. That's brilliant. And you're printing on demand, or do you buy in bulk usually with the books?
So we've got everything. So we are printing as well, and so there are a number of copies. We've asked all of the authors how many copies they want, so we're shipping them out to all of the authors. And beyond that, it'll be print on demand because that's the easiest. Then we don't have to worry too much about inventory and actually having to ship, because Amazon does everything. So that's a great. I mean, they charge you a lot of money, but it's still worth it,
Yes.
because then they
Yes.
have to do everything. The one thing I didn't mention to you is, with this book that's coming out, My Voice, we, again, because it is a co-authored book and authors are from all over the world, we also wanted to do something good with it besides inspiring other people and besides giving an opportunity to authors to write. What we've done is the proceeds that we get from sales of this book, which is through the ebook or paperback or hardcover, whatever, the all of the sales proceeds, now we're donating them to a charity in Singapore, which is called Singapore Children's Society. This is one of the oldest charities in Singapore, and we're donating the proceeds to them. And just in a way to give back to the society, but also give voices to the future of this world.
Wow, that's fantastic. It's so important to give back and have some kind of social enterprise element to what you do. I think this really is the new economy, and people are more interested in supporting people who are giving back in some way.
Yeah.
And if we all just did that, if we all just gave back in some way, we could create a better world, a kinder, more giving, more loving world. Extraordinary, Neera. That is absolutely brilliant. I love that. I love how entrepreneurial you are putting all that together. Now, I'm curious, with all the places you have traveled to, do you have a favorite place?
All right. Well, every place had something special. Every place had something special. But I would say, in terms of a place that I would like to go back again, would be, and these are places where I've lived, not just travel to. Again, when you look at travel, we've all traveled to many different countries, but in terms of where I've lived, I would pick Taiwan as one of the places, and purely because of the people. The people are the nicest that I have met. Again, language was a barrier, but their kindness, their simplicity is just, I have not seen that anywhere else.
Beautiful. Yeah, the people really do make a place, don't they? When you feel welcomed and you feel, it feels like, you're always welcome there. You feel this warm fuzzy feeling of a place. It's the energy of the people that can make the place as much as the beauty of the place. You can have a beautiful place, but if you've got ugly people, that becomes an ugly place suddenly, right?
Agreed.
So yeah, beautiful. Well, I think it's awesome you've traveled so much, because traveling does help you be wiser in life, right? You become more wise when you travel. And also, they say readers are leaders as well. So people involved with books usually are doing a fair bit of reading as well. So you are great leaders in doing that. So each of these chapters, how long are the chapters in the book?
So they're all 2,000 words, and we have to be very strict with our word count, because that's how in the publishing world you have to be quite consistent with it. So each of the authors get 2,000 words to write their chapter, and then there's also a bio. So after every chapter, there's the bio of the author, which is about 150 words. It has their pictures in there, so people can put a face, to the whole story of the person who's written it. There is a content about who they are, and at the same time, we also wanted to make sure that anybody who reads the book, if they want to connect with these authors, then they have their details. They're not going around trying to look them up anywhere. So we've got 3 external links of each of the authors as well, whether it's their LinkedIn, whether it's their website, their Facebook, Instagram, whatever they wanted to share, so that as a reader, if you wanted to connect with them, you're able to do that. And by doing that, we're creating a community, because that was the number one objective that we had with doing this.
Absolutely, creating a beautiful women's community. And there is something very powerful about a group of women coming together. I must say, I've been doing a fair bit of women's work myself over the last few years, because I've noticed, as a journalist working in the media for years, it's a very masculine kind of energy place to work, as you would know too, right? The world of TV and radio and magazines, etc. It's often a very male-dominated kind of place. And to succeed as a woman, we've almost had to take on these male type traits. And we all have feminine and masculine in us, right? We all have a bit of both. So it's balancing out those energies. I must say, though, the women's circles I've been on have been quite extraordinary on a whole other level. There's a lot of wisdom that comes with women's work, and, men's work as well. It's important that men also have their time with men and women have their time with women. And this is how they did it back in the old tribal days, right? Is that the women would hang out with the women, they go collect the berries, and the guys would go out hunting and get the meat, and they all come back together at the end of the day, and they dance around the fireplace and dress up and do crazy things and eat and feast and then have sex and make babies, and so it goes on. And that's the that's the tribal way. It's important for women to have women's time and men to have men's time. So what has it been like for you, Neera, working with so many amazing women? What has it shown you about women coming together and supporting each other?
I think it's been absolutely amazing for me personally. I think it's been so enriching. And what I loved about working with women, it's the energy. When you're talking to them, when you're working with them, listening to them, there's this whole energy that gets created. And again, I mean, we've all worked with men as well. A lot of the work I did in corporate, again, was with male leaders. But to be very honest, I think I learned, even though I might have gotten along better with some of the male leaders, but I felt that I learned a lot more with some of the female leaders that I had, or female colleagues that I had. But even now, running a business, my my partner is a lady. I mean, she's my best friend, Shikha Sarkar, and the energy that we have together when we work, it's amazing, because we complement each other. And again, because we've worked together for so long, it's almost there's a lot of unsaid things where I don't need to tell her, she knows it. And there are times where I have written something and she's like, that's exactly what was in my mind. And the same energy has trickled to our teams as well, where it's almost like everybody gets it. Like, we don't have to explain ourselves. We don't have to be about, this is my logic, or this is where I'm coming from. They kind of get it. And I'll tell you a very interesting story about again, working with women. And I genuinely feel that it's because it was women. So I showed you the cover of the book right now. If you see, the face of the woman is facing outside. Now, originally when it was designed with the face facing the binding. And that's when the marketing team came and said to us, they said, you know what, Neera, you have to flip the face. I said, why? It looks great. I mean, it's a great cover. They said, you're closing her mouth. It's the binding. You want her to open. You want her to talk. You're talking about authentic voice. You want her to be heard. You have to face it to the opening of the book. I said, that's it. Yes. And and again, I genuinely feel, because we women think like that, and we want to give voice to each other, we want to help each other out, that camaraderie that we have, that's where that thinking process comes, and you learn from each other like that.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And the intuition that comes from that. I like, and that attention to detail. Now, that's something women are very good at, right? Attention to detail. And that's
OCD.
Yes, almost OCD, but don't let perfection get in the way of progress, right? Yeah, so definitely don't do that. But, it's fantastic. It's just so great to see women collaborating and men collaborating. There's a lot of men's sheds and men's groups out there too, and it's just wonderful to see people starting to speak up, support each other, and then the men's and women's groups as well that come together. It's all it's beautiful the way that so many people are supporting each other now, particularly through COVID, when it's been a challenging time for some people. It's been really nice that people have been connecting across the world through Zoom, and with your amazing collaboration with the My Voice book and giving back to charity. It's just extraordinary. And we've got some people here saying some nice comments. Yusufa, hello, Yusufa. He's saying nice. We've got Neetha here. Hello, Neetha Sanjay. With all the amazing work you have been doing, you will definitely leave a beautiful legacy behind, Neera. Oh, isn't that sweet? Thank you, Neetha. That's very sweet. Well, sending you all love. And if you've just joined us here today, we do have the Global Good News Challenge happening at the moment for July. And part of that is sharing gratitude. So I'd love to see in the chat, what are you grateful for today? Just pop into the chat, what are you grateful for today? And where are you joining us from? If you're watching this on Media Queen TV on YouTube, or if you're watching on Facebook, what are you grateful for today and where are you joining us from? So on that note, Neera, what are you grateful for today? What are 3 things?
3 things. So I actually also do practice gratitude every night before I sleep, and I found it a very, very good exercise because it really helps you understand that life's good. There's so much good happening in life despite everything bad happening outside, and it really, really helps me. So I think number one, I am grateful for my own self. My health, the fact that I'm mentally sane and safe, and I'm physically fine, and I am who I am, and I do what I do. So I am grateful for my own self.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be family, because that's really, really important in terms of what support I have and what I have to look forward to, which is my husband, my children, my dogs, and also the help that I have at home, my helpers. So they all come together as the family, the core family for me. So I am extremely grateful for that. And the third thing would be the work that I do. The work that I do is so important for me as a person, because this is what is my ikigai, to be very honest. This is what I feel so fulfilled about, is the work that I do, and the fact that I'm able to then give back through what I'm doing. And that's always been an important thing. So I would say these 3 things. Again, the list goes on, but since you asked me for the top 3 things, this is what it would be.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And they say there's no greater purpose than being of service.
Yes.
And it really is so powerful when you contribute to others, and you get a sense of significance for yourself, of course, which is one of the basic human needs. However, you also get contribution, you get love, you get connection. These are all basic human needs that we get when we support and help others. It really is such a beautiful thing. And, as your light brightens like a candle, you have a candle with the flame. One candle with the flame comes to another candle with the flame lit. They come together and they make an even stronger flame, right?
Yes.
And, I love that analogy. When people are lit up, there's so much abundance of light to keep giving and keep giving. Whereas when people are shut down, there's nothing to give. They're depleted. Correct. And that's why filling your own cup up first and helping others with the overflow is so important in life. Thank you, Neera, for sharing those gratitudes. Yusufa says, thanks for you. Oh, thanks for you. Thank you, Yusufa. Thanks for you. Good job. Thank you. Well, I'm grateful for you too, Yusufa. And thank you so much for that. And 3 things I'm grateful for today is I'm grateful for you, Neera. I think you're extraordinary and very similar to myself. And I'd love to chat about, if you're happy to chat about it, is, what it's been like as a woman to get to a certain age and be challenged with having children as birth children. Because, this is something, I'm 47 and, I've been pregnant once. I miscarried at 9 weeks about 10 years ago. And that was extraordinary to be able to feel being pregnant. And I do wonder how my life would be different now if I actually had that child right through to completion. Well, not that anything's really complete, but, if I actually didn't miscarry. And what it's been like as a woman for me, I know has been really challenging since about the age of 38, when my body has said, hurry up and have children, right? The body clock's ticking. And yet my mind has been saying, oh, no, you love your freedom. No, don't go there. That'll ruin your life forever if you have kids. You'll never have another spare moment to yourself. You'll be changing nappies for the first 5 years. It'll drive you crazy. In fact, you may get postnatal depression. So there's those thoughts that come up as well, right? Those kind of things can come up. And so I'm grateful actually as a woman that I have also been able to fall pregnant, and I have the capability to be able to fall pregnant. And even though I haven't had a child fully through 9 months and beyond, I think the minute a seed is formulated into the start of a child, I think you have a living, breathing entity inside you, which is extraordinary. The fact that we can actually create that, right?
Yes.
That our bodies are capable of even creating that is extraordinary. And I am also so grateful for my family, Neera. I have extraordinary family all over the world. I have Greek, Turkish, and Ukrainian blood. I have family in America and Australia. Very multicultural, and absolutely love my life and my family. So we are very close. And I love food. That's a bonus one. I do love food as well, I must say, Neera. And I love Indian food. I love curries. I love Mediterranean food. I love D. Pickers saying here, love the conversation, understandings and takeaway. Great fun. A meaningful conversation is brightening my weekend. You both are amazing women. Oh, thank you, D. Picker. Lovely. That's very nice of you to say that. And I love the people we're connecting with my friends on Facebook, even if we haven't met in person. I love the fact that we have connected through this medium. I think there's no coincidences that you are watching this right now, wherever you are in the world. There's no coincidences. Please pop into the chat. What are you grateful for? Where are you joining us from? So, Neera, I've just covered a whole lot of stuff in that. So back to as a woman, what it's like, because women get to this age and suddenly the clock ticks and it's like, oh my goodness, if I don't have a kid now, I'll be over the hill. My family will reject me for life because I've never married and had kids. I'll be the black sheep in the family and I'll be an outcast and I'll be alone, and that's not safe because, as human beings, we want to stay in tribes. We want to be part of the community. And part of that expectation, having strong family values as well, is that the family, traditional, my parents have been together 51 years this year, right? So I have very traditional stock. My brother's married for 25 years. He's got 4 children, right? He's made up for me. Right? Wow. And, and I'm 47, no kids at this point. I've had a cat that I adopted 12 years ago. And so I must say personally for me, Neera, it's been a really challenging time to actually let go of the attachment to wanting to have birth children with the man of my dreams, my soulmate, the one. They say you're going to meet the one. Well, I'm still waiting. I had a few false alarms. So anyway, I know Asutosh is looking for some guys for me right now in India. So thank you, Asutosh. We've got the whole Speakers Tribe Brigade onto it, looking for a good sperm donor. But anyway, I digress. So Neera, what's it been like? What's it been like for you, Neera, as a lady also a similar age to myself, going through that whole period of literally not the period, I mean obviously monthly periods, but I wasn't about that kind of period, but that stage in life that stage in life where as women it's like the clock is ticking and there's this urgency to hurry up and have children.
So one thing I wanted to first say, I commend you for what you said earlier, that you said even though you couldn't go full term, you're grateful for the fact that you had, the baby, you were able to. This is amazing. I mean, I think I've learned something from you right now with what you have said, because again, I've been through that. And for me, it was the worst phase of my life. And again, today I can talk about it because I'm in a better place, but I still wouldn't have thought of it in that sense, because I think somewhere deep down, I'm still resentful for what happened to me, but I am thankful for you about what you said. And, in my gratitude prayer, I'm going to say that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Neera, because, I must say too, and I miscarried naturally, and it took 3 weeks of bleeding, and it was a very painful natural miscarriage process. It was really hard emotionally, and I still get emotional now, even thinking about it. I get emotional because, that was a living child that died at 9 weeks, basically. In one way, you could look at it that way. You could say, well, it died at 9 weeks. And another way you could say, well, it actually lived for 9 weeks and this is the thing. It's all perspective. It's the yin yang of life, which way you're going to look at the scenario. It's a miracle that we can have children, that a man and a woman comes together and they can create a miracle of a human being. And out of 1 billion swimmers, one of them makes the finish line and makes it to the end. And then, there's the incubation period for 9 months. So can you share a bit about your journey, Neera? Whatever you're comfortable sharing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, just so you know that this is what I have written. This is one of my story is also in the first book. And I don't think I could have written it before, because I don't think I was in a space where I could share it. And I realized by writing it, by sharing it, one, I don't use the word closure because there wasn't a closure, but one, I felt at peace by writing it. And secondly, I know there are so many women out there like me who are probably going through this or who may go through this, God forbid. But one, they know that they're not alone. So, and
Mm.
secondly, there is no shame in what is happening to you. And third, there are other ways of finding happiness. And that's the reason why I wrote my story, and which is exactly about what you're asking. And for me, again, very typical. I got married at 24 to the man I loved, and we traveled and we lived all over the places, and great careers. In fact, there was a time where people called us power couple because we were just out there. We were coordinating our travel so that we could meet at airport lounges and things like that. So we were living the life.
Mm.
And I know people were envious, or people looked up to it, and it was great. But the thing that people didn't know at the time was we'd been married for about 10 years, and this is a time where you start to think about having children. And again, by then I was a 30 plus, and so we started this whole journey of trying, and that kind of went on, and it just wasn't happening. And then I finally did fall pregnant, and I miscarried at 10 weeks. And that was because the child wasn't growing the way it was supposed to. At 10 weeks, there was no heartbeat. And lucky for me, my doctor said at the time that, we do the DNC, dilation and curation. We'd remove it because it might be very traumatic otherwise. And so, went through that. And it was the first time going under general anesthesia, and they make you sign all sorts of things. And again, it
Mm.
was also a very traumatic experience because of the way it was dealt with. Because here I am being told that I'm sorry, this is it. There's no more baby happening. And, you're sitting there trying to come to terms, and the nurse is handing you this document to sign because they're like, oh, you're in luck. I have an opening today. I can do the operation today. And you're like, give me some time to, like,
Yeah.
you've just
Yes.
given me the worst news that I could go through. But anyway, so that
Yes.
happened. And then, then, you know, again, now I'm going to say, thankfully, I felt pregnant again. But again, it was the same thing. And, during this whole time, the thing was that we didn't tell anybody. We didn't tell our family. We didn't tell our friends. So it was just me and my husband suffering together. Right. And at the time,
Mm.
of course, for me, I was very mature. So for me, I thought I'm suffering all alone because I'm like, what is it for you, for my husband? And I didn't realize that it was hard on him too. It's his child too. Just because he's not carrying it or not going through the whole physical thing doesn't mean that he's not feeling the pain. And
Yeah.
then, we went to doctors, we got checkups done, checkups looked all fine. So they said, let's try some IVF drugs. And I went through, injected, and I'm so scared of needles. I'm so scared of needles. And now I was just one person who was injecting in my tummy, and I had to take the highest doses, and then the side effects of all of those things. And again, you're suffering alone. I didn't share with anybody. I didn't tell anybody what was happening. Everybody just saw, the couple who was traveling, working, doing all of those things. But at the same time, the shame and the guilt that a woman feels, even though it's not her fault, you do feel that. You feel like, there's one thing that a woman should do is carry children. And you've thought that in your mind too, like, this is a natural thing for women to do, and I couldn't do it. So I felt all of those things. Again, you think about, oh, maybe I shouldn't have traveled, and I shouldn't have gotten on the plane. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have gone for a swim. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. You think of all of those. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have partied so much. You think of, oh, maybe I shouldn't eat this food. That you think of all of the
Mm.
things. You blame yourself for things, and then it becomes a process because then you're looking at the time. You've got the app in your phone to check when are you ovulating. You're using all sorts of things to find out the right time in the right date, and it's literally becomes mechanical. Like, I was calling my husband up and I said, okay, lunchtime, you're coming home. That's how it had become. It became so mechanical. There was no romance at all. It was
Mm.
about mechanical. And then, putting your feet up and cycling and turning. You do everything. I've done things where um ritualistic things, like somebody said, oh, wear pink topaz, pink jade, sorry, wear pink jade. And somebody said, do this, go to the sea, go do this, all sorts of offerings. I did everything, whether I believed in it or not, just because I said, I want to try everything out. And it
Mm.
was a painful process mentally, physically. It was just I was broken. I was broken at a
Mm.
point, and then of course came this a completely different thing where a friend of ours said, do you want to adopt a dog? Because my husband always wanted dogs, and I was scared of dogs. I said, are you kidding? I'm scared of dogs. I don't want hair. I don't want saliva.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I don't want any of that stuff. And I was like, oh, and they said, just go and meet the dog. And I went and met the dog, and he was a 3-year-old dog who was mistreated by the current. And I'll use the word owners for them because they were not parents. And I came back home and I was like, that's it. I said, yep, let's do it. And my husband said, are you sure? And in a way, I also did it because I said, I can't give him the happiness of a child. I should not take away this from him. And I said, yes, let's do it. And we got the dog, and it was a process for me. But slowly I was like, wow, the dog taught me to be a mother. And I used to sing lullabies to the dog, and my whole life became my dog, who was JD. And he was my child. I still say he's my firstborn. To date, I tell all my other children, I just tell them, I'm like, look, and I tell him in his ear, you're my favorite, don't tell the others. The mothering I did for him, I don't think I've done for any of the other kids. But then so he came along, and I said, you know what? I have the mother in me, and I was able to do that. Okay, I couldn't have birth children, but that's fine. I had the dog, and then I had another one. When you say, oh, we're not looking to have another one, and then we did. And then also my company, actually, yeah, the company came first. No, the company came after the dog, because I named my company Kit Kat Events and Marketing on my dog. And then the company becomes your baby. So I said, you know what? Now I have all of those things to give, and I can give it. And it doesn't have to be through a child, because it wasn't happening. So I found my happiness in the company. I gave it everything that I had. And then, of course, because you send out all of those feelers right into the universe. And I truly, truly, I'm so grateful to the universe, to all of the energies, or to even things that I might have done good in my past life, that I was then able to. I met somebody and she said, have you thought about adoption? I said, we've thought about adoption, but it's just not happening. We're probably not doing it the right way, or we don't know. And she said, don't worry. I'll get you in touch with somebody. And she did the next day. I called the people up, and in a few months, we got a call and we said, there is a lady who wants to place her child. Would you be keen? We're like, would I be keen? Like, let's do it now. Let's go. And that's it. And of course, it was a whole process, because there's a whole legal process and there's a lot of paperwork and everything. But we're like, you know what? We will do whatever we need to do. Like, this is it. This is what we want. And it's happening for us now. And then, we adopted a beautiful baby girl, straight from the hospital. She was 2 days old when we brought her home in Singapore. Her name's Sahana, and 3 years down the line, we were able to adopt another child, a beautiful baby boy. His name's Sarang. So my daughter's 5.5 years old now. My son's 2.5 years old. And yes, the family's complete. The family's complete. I've got 4 kids, and it's great. I love it.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm getting so emotional here. It's crazy. But it's so beautiful what you said. And, I can really relate, because I adopted a cat 11 years ago now. And he was 1.5 at the time. His name's Tiger. And so he's now coming on to 13.5. And he's a beautiful cat, and he had high anxiety when I got him. He was also abused in his previous place. He'd been neglected and abused, and I got him at 1.5 years, and he had high anxiety, didn't want anyone to touch him. And now you can just cuddle him, carrying him, he's just the most loving, beautiful cat. And so I've got my nurturing out with my cat, like you did with your dogs. And also with my projects, all my projects and my business has all been, babies I've created. I created the world's first Animal Action Day in 2007. We've done 14 annual events now, raising awareness, appreciation, and respect for animals. Then there's the Good News Day that I started on the 8th of the 8th, 18, and the Global Good News Challenge we started last year, the monthly Facebook Live challenges sharing gratitude and good news. These are all babies, right? These are all babies that I've created. And in fact, I didn't really think about it that way right now. And you've just brought that to me now, Neera, that's something that each of these projects, doing the My Voice book is another baby, right? You've just created, you're about to, you've birthed another baby, and now it's about to go crazy. And soon there's going to be another one of those babies to be born. So, there's so many ways we can get our nurturing out. And, they say you make plans and God laughs.
Yeah.
You make plans and God laughs. Sometimes we really, really want something, and it's like you're banging your head against a wall, and eventually you just sort of give up and let go, and you just go, okay, well, everything happens for me, not to me. It's all happening for a reason, and rather than try to control everything, just let go and let God. It's like, okay, your will be done. You just let, like Oprah says, use me. She says, use me, God, use me. Whatever God is to you. You use me, allow whatever that spirit, universal energy, love, abundance is within and all around us, allow that flow to happen rather than trying to control and contain things. That's when frustration comes in. Yeah. So beautiful share there, Neera. Just, amazing. The babies you've created. And
I agree with what you said about God. I mean, and again, when I was, going through everything, it was literally like I was keeping scores. I was like, okay, God 1, Neera 0, God 2, Neera 0, God 8, Neera 0. And that's how I felt too. Until there was a point where, I was like, oh, well, we're holding the trophy together. And in fact, I'm holding the trophy and God's lifting me up to do that. Yeah. And I realized that. And I said, not only have I made, comments with God or peace with God, I do understand. And again, for different people, it's different things. There are people who don't believe in God, which is fine. But there are energies out there in the world. And you're so right when you said things happen for a reason. And I know that, you would think about how can bad things happen for a reason, but they do happen for a reason. And I'm, again, grateful for everything that has happened, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, everything, because they've all shaped the person who I am today. They've shaped the way I lead my life and everything that is happening around me.
Absolutely. Everything happens for you, not to you, my friends. Yes, such a deep conversation we've been having. I hope, those watching this right now, I hope you're getting something out of this conversation for yourself. And I'd love to hear from you in the chat. What have you been getting from this conversation? We've gone to all sorts of different places, and we've already chatted for an hour, Neera. I can't believe it's gone so quickly, and there's so much more I want to talk to you about. This has been a really beautiful conversation, and we've just had a new moon here. The new moon was yesterday. And so now is a great time to be manifesting what you want. And hey, I'm 47 and I think you're younger than me, Neera. There's, who knows, there's a lady on the Gold Coast had a child naturally at 50. So Who knows, Neera and I may be pregnant sometime soon. So just watch this space. You just never know what might happen. Sometimes you just let go and then something happens, right? So who knows? If it's meant to be, it'll be, right? If it's meant to be. And if it doesn't happen, that's fine too. Yeah. And when it came to when I miscarried, you mentioned about the general anesthetic. I remember when I miscarried too, I was in this emotional state, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. 1 minute you've got a living, breathing, being inside you, and next minute it's not breathing anymore. Now you've got this dead thing inside you, right? This dead being. And the doctor was explaining to me too, we'll do a general anesthetic. It means you can't drive anywhere for 2 days. And I looked at my diary. I said, there's nowhere in my diary where I can't drive for 2 days. I said, I've got a chock-a-block schedule here. And so that's why I miscarried naturally, which ended up being, 10 times more painful and lasted for 3 weeks. However, it was a whole process in itself. And, I am so grateful to Neera for everything in my life, for all the ups and downs, all the challenges. They all make us stronger as human beings. And, we're talking about inspiring, motivating, and empowering. And, the fact is that people inspire, motivate, and empower themselves and others all the time, and often are not aware of it. Okay. Yeah. So I want to acknowledge everyone who does inspire, motivate, and empower themselves or others right now, particularly now during COVID. Is very important for us to raise our vibration. And that means not having any regret, right? It means being grateful for every single thing in life and loving this journey of life, this roller coaster ride of life that we experience, enjoying every single moment of it, savoring it all up, doing what you love to do, all really, really important. Oh, Neera, I could chat with you for ages. Now, we've got a few links here you popped in the chat here,
Yes.
so let me share some of those. All right, so what have you got
Yes.
coming up, Neera?
All right. So the first link that I've shared with you, that is a link for registering for the launch of the book, My Voice, a collective memoir by women of substance. So that is a launch. It's on Zoom. It's virtual. So it's open to everybody, men, women, anybody can join the launch of the book, where they'll have the opportunity to meet with the authors who are part of the book. So it'll be absolutely wonderful. And there'll be a huge energy created by so many amazing and courageous women who are going to be part of the launch. So that's the first link. The second link that I have just shared with you is a private Facebook group, which is called My Voice Forum, which again is for women only. And here again, we are a network of women where we share things, where we inspire each other. And also then they will be able to see, whoever joins that group can then see the events that we run. So twice a month, as I might have mentioned before, we run the My Voice Forum. So it is, again, an online event, which is for women who can join, and we'll have a speaker. It is free to join, and we keep it to a very small number of people so that it is more interactive. And so they can be part of that. And the third one I have is the YouTube channel that we have for My Voice. Again, right now it is all the speakers that all the authors. So it's about them. So it's videos that they have recorded about themselves, so people can subscribe to our channel on YouTube. And the last one I'm going to share is, because the book isn't out yet, so fingers crossed it will be out today. And of course, we can later on share on your channels when the book is available on Amazon. It should be out today, but in the meantime, at least I'm sharing the link for the website, which is for the publishing house. And the reason I also want to do that is I want to encourage the other women who are listening to us today, if they have thought about writing a book, or they've written something and they're thinking of what to do with it, we're there to help you, whether it is for your content, whether it's printing, publishing, everything, the full suite. So, get in touch with us, and, we can give, the voice that you have, we can, make it heard. So, that's what I wanted to sort of share the links with you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Neera. And depending where you're seeing this right now, if you're not seeing those websites in the comments, I will go back and make sure they're all in there. Sometimes they don't all come across from StreamYard over to Facebook. So we are streaming into my Facebook profile now, the Aldwyn Altuney Media Queen Facebook page, and Media Queen TV on YouTube as well. Fantastic, Neera. There's some awesome links in there. And I have also put in there my Linktree link, which is right here. That's Linktree/Aldwyn. That's got all my social media links, including the Free Publicity Secrets Masterclass that's coming up on July 22 from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And then also we have currently the Global Good News Challenge that you can participate in. You can start any time between now and the 11th of July for the 7-day Facebook Live Challenge, sharing your name, what you do, 3 things you're grateful for, and a piece of good news. So that link also, the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page, is in the Linktree link that I have put into the chat. And it'd be great for you to connect on there. And some beautiful comments. Thank you to everyone who's been watching this live, and for those watching the replay, just pop into the comments there what you got out of this show today, what you got out of the interview, maybe some action you're taking moving forward, or maybe something you're grateful for today. Just pop into the chat. Thank you, Neetha, for this lovely comment. What a beautiful conversation. It was such a pleasure listening to you both. A lot of honest sharing, which was so inspirational, and fun and laughter too. A beautiful start to a weekend. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Neetha. That's very sweet of you to say. Thank you so much. And I've absolutely loved being with you today as well. And Neera, I've actually been up since 4 a.m. Neera. I was on a Grand Connection Mega Visibility Marketing Buffet event. I was speaking on an event with Canadians and Americans, and at 4 a.m. my time. And then I did an interview with Angelique Pellegrino from Brisbane, one of my mass media mastery clients, and we did a great one on 3 keys to transform your life. We did a great interview there, and now the interview with you. And now I'm off to get a massage after this and go to the beach. So some self-care for me. Massage and beach sounds pretty damn good. And the sun is shining here on the Gold Coast, a beautiful blue skies, clear day. And even though it's winter, I would say I will be hopping in the ocean around sunset today, which will be just stunning. Maybe just for about a minute or two, but just to wake me up for the afternoon.
Yeah.
And what's in store for you, Neera, for the rest of the weekend?
Well, I actually got vaccinated day before yesterday. So yesterday was, I was a bit feverish and everything. So, but I'm good. So I had actually not planned anything because I'm like, I'm just going to take it a bit light. But I actually feel really good this morning. And I think it's because I'm talking to you as well. So that's all the energy that I've gotten. So I'm really just going to spend time with the family. The weather here isn't very good, but that's okay. We'll still make the best of it. So I'm going to spend time with the family and read a book.
Yeah, nice. Some downtime, some relaxing time over the weekend. Fantastic. And have lots of water, sunshine, get your feet into the ground wherever you are, ground yourself, meditate, yoga, music, dance, do what gives you joy, right? That's what life's all about. Do what gives you joy. Before we wrap up, Neera, any final comments from you? Anything else you'd like to say?
I think what I'd like to just say to people is that, we all have to find our own unique path to happiness. And it may not be what other people have, but there is a path and only we can find it. Nobody else can find it for us. So go out there, look for it, make mistakes, but you will find it.
Yeah, absolutely. And love the journey of life. Thank you so much, Neera. As Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. And as I say, shine bright and light up all those around you. Blessings to you. Lots of love for a beautiful weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know your comments in the chat. How have you found this interview today? What have you learned? If you like what you've seen, then we'd like for you to like it or love it and share the love so that we can inspire more people and lift the energy on the planet right now. Thank you so much, Neera. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you very much, Aldwyn. It was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neera. It was awesome.